At 3:21 in the Arctic, a US sensor sees heat where there should be ice. Not drift. Not weather. A spike consistent with a reactor under load. NORAD's verdict: this is not posturing. This is deployment. You clicked for that moment. You're in the right place. We'll unpack the 3 signals that tripped highest alert: the under-ice heat signature, the P-8's tight beam imagery with a locked crane arm, and radiation spikes tied to a modified cargo ship. Stay to see how those threads led to Operation Icefall, the non-nuclear play that forced a retreat without firing a nuclear shot. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. A heat bloom under Arctic ice at an hour when the ocean should read cold and inert. Why did that single spike force senior analysts to say deployment, not drills? First signal. The undersea sensor net watching the Kara approaches flags a clean, compact rise, not the smeared wiggle you get from wind stress or brine channels. Baseline variance hovers and drifts. This one climbs, holds, and tapers like a machine coming online. The grid pulls historic ice data and tidal models. None of them fit the curve.
Russia has by far the largest number of troops stationed in the region and routinely conducts Arctic tactical exercises. The country currently owns nearly half of the polar territory and 24,000 kilometers of coastline. This territorial dominance has allowed Russia to expand its military significantly in the region over the past 10 years. It provides crucial air, sea and land military capabilities to safeguard the Kola Peninsula, home to Russia's second strike nuclear arsenal and their Northern Fleet headquarters. This disparity is a big problem for NATO, because it allows Russia to severely disrupt vital sea lines between North America and Europe, and tightens Russian control on the strategically important Northern Sea route.
You aren't looking at weather. You're looking at work. But then the split screen problem hits. Could ice shear trap warmer water and fake the spike? Natural eddies bloom wide, slow, and messy. This trace is tight, fast, and repeatable. Rise time is seconds, not minutes. Persistence holds across adjacent nodes with a stagger that matches flow, not surfacing. That's a covert load. NORAD steps up the ladder. Under ice thermal fuses with a polar orbiter's faint track lines and, worse, an AIS dead zone along a Russian patrol lane that hums during drills. Ships that want to be seen broadcast. Silence in a corridor that loves noise means someone is hiding. Doctrine fills the gaps. When the Northern Fleet trains, airmen get NOTAMs and mariners get NAVWARNs. No notices went out. No safe boxes marked. Unannounced movement that close to a choke point reads as intent, not practice. Eyes on arrives from altitude. The P-8 rolls in and catches a tight geometry, Udaloy ahead, a Gorskov-class offset, and a modified cargo hull boxed in. The crane arm is stowed transport safe, lashings clean, no swing clearance set. That isn't working cargo. That is carrying something you don't want to jostle. Then the third thread. Radiation monitors ashore and on passives show short, periodic upticks. Not a leak. A handled source, shield on, shield off, shield on again. That profile matches what Allied intel tags to tactical nuclear depth charge storage cycles. Under the ice, a Kilo trio holds a triangle. No hunt spread. An umbrella. They guard a passage to a narrow exit. 3 signals agree. Heat with a machine's breath, eyes on a nuclear handling posture, radiation pulses near a non-standard hull. The board flips to highest alert. So now the question isn't what moves. It's how you stop it without crossing the nuclear line. How do you blind a nuclear move without firing a nuclear shot? The mission is narrow and cold: block a tactical nuclear deployment at a polar choke point, but keep escalation in a cage. You deny the sight, you preserve second strike stability, and you leave no scorch that forces a cornered response. That means control, tempo, and a playbook built for silence. Meanwhile, the convoy angles in. Speed locks to a wartime transport profile, steady and conservative. Under ice recon hears a tube warming cycle, short bursts of heat, then idle, then heat again. That cadence means intent. It also hands you a clock. So the toolkit comes out in layers. Stealth insertion to get eyes where radars can't. Electronic deception to throw false sky and false sea into their feeds. Anti-radiation effects to take away emitters that paint targets. You strip their senses, not their hulls. You never touch the warhead. Sequencing is the spine. B-2s reach first and quietly cut sensor nodes and long-range targeting arrays, the high racks that tell shooters what to shoot. F-35Cs flood the lane with decoys and then harm shots, soaking search beams and cracking fire control radars. Under-ice drones trail the column, watch for readiness to slip, and confirm when crews can't hold a launch posture. Arctic physics helps. Freezing air thickens layers that bend signals. Ducting traps energy near the surface. Low-angle radar horizons shrink and wobble. Glide munitions with EMP-like payloads ride those layers, burying electronics without metal spray. Jammers press into the bends and fill the gaps. It's a blizzard for circuits. One more move is theater, not fire. An SSGN surfaces in view lines and stays cold. It says two things: we're here, and you are outmatched if you climb. Then the Russian picture folds. Targeting networks flicker. Fire control loops break. Kilos lose their triangle without queuing and drift to safety profiles. The convoy slows, turns, and yields the corridor. The device never finds a stable nest. Traffic resumes. Under-ice drones shadow the retreat and mark the lane clean for follow-on patrols. 3 signals fused into one decision. Heat under ice that rose like a machine's breath. Eyes on a convoy locked in a nuclear handling posture. Radiation spikes that pulsed with shield on, shield off cadence. That blend gave speed, cover, and proof without crossing the line. Which single piece of intelligence carried the most weight, the initial heat signature, the P-8 confirmation, or the radiation spikes? Comment your choice below. If you value real-world tactics that win information wars before missiles launch, subscribe. The Arctic won't stay quiet. Next time the tell may be smaller. Train your eye for the first signal, because the timeline will be shorter.